After what seemed to be a very caution-filled race last week, and after an epic battle between two drivers, we return to racing here for round 6 of the Rowdy Energy Cup Series as we head to Atlanta Motor Speedway for what seems to be a fantastic event here tonight. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to ESPN. Thank you for making us a part of your evening. My name is Sam Cooper Bennett here in the booth with you, and joined with me, as always, is Mr. Frank Marchese. And Frank, the big talking point this week is Cedric Hunter. Can he finally pick up that win this time around?
And Cedric has had quite a good amount of runs here. We had mentioned, well, he had said last week during his post-race interview how much he wants to beat Tony Ball. Those guys aren't here tonight. None of Dream Team Incorporated are here. So Cedric's going to have to wait another week to try to beat Tony. But right now, with the way the timing pylon is looking, he's got Logan Jones and J.D. Woodward to contend with right in front of him.
No, he does, and Logan Jones showing some proper pace here tonight. He's out there in the top spot right now, currently sitting in pit road. Adam Ashley is just leaving in pit road in that Dr. Pepper number 23. 16 cars set to take the grid here tonight as we look at the weather for tonight's race, as it's looking well, it's 68 degrees Fahrenheit. That gives us a track temperature of 103 degrees Fahrenheit. It's partly cloudy out there with the wind coming from the north, 2 miles per hour with 36% humidity. Now, I'm not sure how that's going to affect the cars, but as we were talking before the broadcast started here, Frank, Multi-Groove Racing is here for this one tonight, so they're going to be able to experience that for the first time here tonight.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And when Multi-Groove Racing was implemented last 2 weeks ago at this point, it was really, you couldn't really see it last week at Phoenix Raceway. Here, we saw it with the USRA Cup Series at Charlotte like a day or two after it was implemented, and that was some incredible racing all throughout the field for the entirety of the race. Here in Atlanta, it's going to look more like real-life Atlanta racing. You're going to see a lot of guys, especially in turns 1 and 2, riding up against that wall. You might see a variance of lines in turns 3 and 4, but as far as what you mentioned, the 103-degree track temperature tonight, that is a hot, slick racetrack. These cars are going to have a lot of trouble trying to keep the back end in check.
Yeah, just seeing the 00 of Ryan Worley just go completely sideways through turns 1 and 2, and that's the one thing they got to look out for, that back end trying to come around. With how slick that track is here tonight, it's going to make things a lot more interesting for the drivers as they negotiate around this track. We've got 120 laps of circulation here tonight, and for all those 120 laps, they've just got to be careful until well, obviously the track evolution comes in.
Yeah, and you might see, we've seen all season long, we've seen one pit stop for these races. There is a very good chance that we see 2 pit stops here because, as known with this racetrack, this track eats tires. This is not a very kind racetrack to tires. So the guys who can maintain the grip in those tires, they will certainly have an advantage here tonight. You'll see them up towards the front. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is our first 2-stop race of the season.
Qualifying underway, and we're looking at Cedric Hunter just leaving pit road right there, and he's going to be a man on the mission tonight. He was so close to getting his first race win at Phoenix last week. Would love to get another one. Just lost out to J.D. Woodward, who picked up his very first race win last week. So last week was a night of firsts, but still not quite close enough for Mr. Hunter right there.
No, and Hunter's had an absolutely fantastic season thus far. Again, he has not finished off the podium in the 4 races that he's competed in. This is number 5 here tonight out of 6 races this season as he takes the green flag for his first lap. He's had a very, very good run. Finds himself second in points after Phoenix last week. This is a guy who has been on a mission. He's been on form. That win will come.
Tony Ball obviously still leading those points after last week, but unfortunately not here tonight. So he will have to relinquish that points lead either way. So Cedric Hunter, should he get a good result here tonight as he comes across the line to finish his first qualifying lap, could take the points lead here tonight as Aaron Tribble going to the top of the board, 9/1000th of a second ahead, and there goes John Fowler up ahead as well.
Yep, John Fowler, a newcomer to the series. We have three debutantes here tonight, John Fowler being one of them, CJ Windsor in the 94, Raymond Dormer in the number 70. Those drivers making their first appearance in the series here tonight. Hunter, purple the first half of the lap, purple in the second half, to the top for the number 13.
Yeah, as that completes his qualifying run here tonight, we're going to look at Raymond Dormer running an iconic paint scheme here tonight, Frank, and what a way to endear yourselves to the fans by running that absolute classic of a cat paint scheme.
Yep, that would be Jeff Burton, I would say mid-2010s, puts it in 8th position. So not that bad, not the fastest of the newcomers here tonight, but certainly a competitive time. We'll see what he can do as far as tire saving, because that's where you win the race here tonight.
JD Woodward out on track right now as he's on his first flying lap and gets a bit tail happy coming out of turn 2, so that might cost him a bit of time in the 15, but Woodward very fast again in the hot lap sessions as he comes through turns 3 and 4 to complete his first lap of the night, and let's see what this can do. Probably not going to be the fastest after that little slip coming out of turn 2.
Just trying to wind that car up on the outside. I wouldn't be surprised if he takes the middle to the inside here. This car is very, very wild, back end happy, especially in turn 1 on the inside lane. You're not going to see too many drivers down at the line here tonight. You'll see them mostly in the middle to the outside lane through 1 and 2. 3 and 4 is not that bad as he almost gets to the line there. The 15 of Woodward will hit the line and he will go into the 3rd position.
Next driver to not take a time will be Scott Warren. Now, Scott Warren had a lot of bad luck last week, led a lot of the laps at Phoenix, just had the most awful luck at the end of the race there, Frank, and we'll be looking to turn that around this week.
Yeah, absolutely, as Greg McConey goes up to 3rd spot on the timing pylon. That leaves Warren as the last driver on track, and you're right, and it also had a lot to do with the pit strategy. Remember that late race caution? He decided to stay out on those older tires, so that's another thing that you have to put into account when you talk about Warren's race last week. Also pretty self-inflicted as well.
Absolutely. Well, Scott Warren already locked into the playoffs. Obviously, he won at Daytona. Great race for him there. Hopefully he can get another race win under his belt. Nearly had it last week. Unfortunately had the bad luck as Warren comes down to the line and might get one more lap in before this is over. He goes up to P8 for his first lap. So going to be looking for a better one this time around. JD Woodward in the end actually went up to P4. So that is a big slip up there by Scott Warren coming out of 2.
Yeah, and that's essentially going to kill his lap. He'll get the lap in clean, but he's green in the first half of the lap. He's not going to be green in the second half, though.
Yeah, and he's going to be very close for time, but he does get it across the line, and he'll improve, but only up to P7 there.
Yeah, and that's kind of expected after what we saw right there, the way he ended that lap.
Yeah, and we did have another one during the session. Timothy Jennings coming into the session very late, so he is another newcomer, I believe, as that is qualifying. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I said I think he's a super speedway runner for the most part, because I do recognize the name.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see how he can fare once we get running. But let's go to the grid for tonight's race. As starting up on the pole will be none other than Mr. Cedric Hunter. He will be followed on that front row by Aaron Tribble. Row 2 will be Greg McConey and JD Woodward, winner from last week at Phoenix. Row 3 will be Ryan Worley and John Fowler. Row 4 will be Scott Warren and Connor Trafari, Frank.
Logan Jones and Jeff Price will make up row number 5. Row 6 will go to Raymond Dormer and J.C. Windsor. Row 7 to Blaze Richardson and Joe Gautier. Row 8 to Timothy Jennings and Shane Posey. Jason Papp will round out the field in the 17th position. The final 4 drivers, Gautier, Jennings, Posey, and Papp, not setting qualifying times.
So 120 laps of scheduled distance here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is round 6 of the season, and make sure you check out the sponsors that we have. We have Diecast Nuts, and we'll do the proper readouts later. We're just going to give them a quick readout now. Diecast Nuts for the channel and for Rocket Racing Setups. Make sure you check out the league sponsors. That would be Butt Kicker, Midwest Motor Customs, iRace and iFlag, Circle B Diecast, and none other than Rowdy Energy, as they are the sponsors of the series themselves. Well, Frank, 6th race of the season. What are your picks for this one tonight?
Honestly, I'm liking Cedric Hunter's chances, but that would be the obvious pick. I think Scott Warren has a good chance. Didn't put in the best qualifying lap, but I have a feeling he's going to have a good run today. Connor Trafari as well had a very good run, was able to save the tires well at Phoenix, and that's exactly what you need to do here. So I think it could be a battle. If it's not the 13, it could be between the 76 and 48.
Yeah, I was very much ready to get him going. Frank, let us. Why don't you bring us to green for the first time tonight?
All right, so it'll be Cedric Hunter and Aaron Tribble leading the field down here for the green flag. Greg McConey and J.D. Woodward right behind them as they come out of turn 4. Round number 6 of this season about to get underway. Flagman has the flag in hand. 120 laps here in Atlanta. We're green.
Absolutely. Cedric Hunter getting off to a decent start right now, going towards turn 1. Look at Greg McConey. Quick dive into the inside as Aaron Tribble just left on the outside there. And we're going to see a lot of close running for the first 10 and 15 laps here, Frank. This is where they need to kind of stick with the drivers until those tires completely fall off, and then that's when the gaps appear.
Yeah, and you can see already the top 3 drivers fanning out. One in the bottom, one in the middle, one at the very top. Not really losing too much as far as the gap to the driver in front of them is concerned. As the run goes on, though, these guys are going to favor that high line a little bit more. McConey goes to the inside trying to get the race lead. Tribble, who was on the way high side, down to the bottom. Oh, there goes McConey.
McConey down to the apron. Blaze Richardson has had an issue as well, as he goes for a big slide into the apron as well. He's had another incident as well, but big loss there for Greg McConey. He's fallen down to P6, actually jumping between John Fowler for P6 as a bit of a scary moment for McConey, but he keeps it going anyway.
And that's a part of how loose these cars are right at the beginning of a run, especially on that inside line as you see him have to chase the car down the racetrack yet again. So McConey trying to push to keep up in this front group here. But Tribble now leading the way with Cedric Hunter right behind him. Then it's Ryan Worley, Greg McConey, J.D. Woodward, and Scott Warren just behind the driver we're seeing right now battling for the 5th spot.
Yeah, Scott Warren hoping for a good result out of this one as Tribble going to the very high line. And he said before the broadcast start, expect a lot of wall riding here tonight. We're already seeing it here with the 22 going, taking that very high line through 1 and 2. Goes deeper this time round through 3 and 4. Probably trying to break the draft of that number 13 as they come out of turn 4 right now.
Yep, absolutely. And you also see Greg McConey in the 12 now trying to get around Ryan Worley on the inside as well. So a lot of action here in this multi-groove racing, the new and improved multi-groove racing certainly showing up as, boy, McConey really having issues coming off at turn 2.
Yeah, seems to can't get that car dialed in through those first 2 corners, but seems to have it a lot better going through 3 and 4, but does lose out to Scott Warren. Might lose out to J.D. Woodward coming out of turn 4. Woodward going to come down slightly. Greg McConey very wise to it as they come across the line to complete another lap here. It is lap number 6, and everybody just really trying to find their spots here. And Cedric Hunter now to the point.
Yep, Cedric Hunter battling and gets a big slide on coming out of 2. Ryan Worley also now has joined this battle here for the race lead. Aaron Tribble doing a great job of holding on to it for the moment. But right now, these guys are quick behind him, and Tribble feels more comfortable that longer way around the racetrack.
Yeah, he does. He lost the lead for a second then before Hunter had that incident coming out of turn 2. But here we go again. Hunter now right on the tail of Tribble as they come out of turn 2 once again on lap 7. And look at Worley. He's right on the back of this as well. Scott Warren getting ever so close. And J.D. Woodward now has finally got around Greg McConey. Now John Fowler trying to put Greg McConey back down to P7 once again.
You can hear how little Worley has to let off the gas going into these corners. It's just so smooth, so fluid all throughout this racetrack. Just slight little lifts, nothing too crazy. At least for the early part of this run, Worley's going to take the lead, but Tribble has the advantage with the momentum on the outside line. He's going to swing back to the inside, try to retake that lead, as I believe that's Blaze Richardson, who you had mentioned before, is slow on the inside.
Yeah, it is. Richardson going to get out of the way of the leaders. Well, hopefully he will, as they come up very quickly on him, and he does. He stays down low. Leader's going to go very high as Richardson going to come back up on the track there. Very scary moment there, especially if you go down low like that, and how difficult the transition is between the apron and the track. Blaze Richardson probably going to need a new fire suit when he goes for his first pit stop of the night.
Yeah, possibly, as Worley retakes that lead. Aaron Tribble now can't fight back in that 22. The 13 of Cedric Hunter right there as well. So a nice little three-way battle here for the race lead between these guys. You can see Scott Warren, the 15 of J.D. Woodward, also just hanging right there. Greg McConey now seems to have figured it out, and just as I say that, into the wall out of 2 goes to 12.
Yeah, and McConey's going to feel that one as they go through 3 and 4. There goes Fowler to the outside of McConey. You can see that right side damage on the 12. That is going to hurt him until he does. I believe they do have... No, they don't have a fast repair, so they've taken that away again this week. So he's going to have to deal with that for the rest of the race now.
Yeah, now there was a vote on the fast repair, but that was for the Super Speedway Series after the update to the Super Speedway car. And wow, the 70 of Raymond Dormer. You saw how loose he got on your screen there. Somehow able to, one, keep it off of Connor Trafari. Now he's in the wall at 3 and 4. Yeah, he's having a big issue in that 70.
Yeah, just got it all wrong coming out of turn 2. Hit the wall, almost came down the track into the side of Trafari, but somehow managed to keep it straight, but all over again. Got it wrong all over again for 3 and 4. And hit the wall again. That's going to be more damage there for the 70. Meanwhile, back at the front, Aaron Tribble trying to find a way past Ryan Worley, but Cedric Hunter really keeping these two very much honest, as well as Scott Warren just sitting back and relaxing back there and just hoping something happens between these three.
Yep, trying to save those tires a little bit. These guys aren't necessarily saving the tires all that much with all this battling that they have been doing. His boy Tribble slides right up just behind Ryan Worley, and this is a completely different Ryan Worley from what we've seen over the last couple of weeks. He's aggressive tonight. He's out front. He's taking pace. And it's hard to ask, and these guys are, let's be honest here, these guys are amateurs. They're not professionals. It's hard to ask a professional to ride up on the outside, paper close to the wall, for 120 laps and not make a mistake. It's impressive if you could do it if you're an amateur.
Well, Kyle Larson is back on iRacing now, so maybe they could get some tips from him.
Yes, he is. Is now Cedric Hunter going for the race lead.
Yeah, he's managed to get around Aaron Tribble, who obviously has hit that wall. And Hunter very close to Worley as he slides up in front of him. But Hunter going to lead his first lap of the race here tonight. I believe that's his first lap led, so good to get himself back to the front here as he comes through 1 and 2. Can he keep that car underneath? It looks like the tyres are really starting to come in now, as they're not seeing so many drivers slipping around now as they come out of turn 2.
Yeah, no, these tires are starting to work their way in. You're exactly right. And as they heat up, there's some drivers that have taken better care of the tires, some drivers who have abused them. They will start to show up right now, as well as Logan Jones in the 23 all over the back of last week's winner, J.D. Woodward.
I was seeing a bit of a trend here. It seems like the Fords and the Toyotas seem to be able to cope with this track very well. The two Toyotas in the field back in 14th and 15th don't seem to be doing so well on a track like this, Frank. Is that because of how the Toyota performs, or is it just that they're not able to hold on to the tires very well?
I would have to say the latter. Again, there is a little bit of a handling difference between the three makes of cars. There's no power difference, but there is a handling difference. And the Fords and Toyotas tend to run a little bit stiffer than the Chevrolets do, and now that's good for a short run pace. It's also good if you can keep the tires on the car, but as far as the Chevrolet goes, you're going to be fighting it for a while. And if you can manage the tires during all that fighting, as we see the 51 of Timothy Jennings working on JC Windsor, trying to keep Windsor behind him here, you're going to have a looser, more, trying to think of the word here, more maneuverable car there towards the end of the run.
Timothy Jennings actually trying to get around Greg McConey. McConey still falling backwards after that wall hit a while back and doing his best to keep the 51 behind him. But there goes Jennings trying to look to the inside and almost gets into the side of McConey as the 94 of Windsor almost gets into the back of the 51. So McConey causing a lot of issues out there with that damaged car and being off the pace like he is.
And it's definitely the damage on the right side of that race car that's causing his issues. His car looks to be a lot tighter. It's not turning down into the corner as well. Still has that back end loose condition off. That's not going to go away. But still, McConey really in a world of trouble right now.
That he is, as I believe they run open setups here, I think.
No, it's
fixed.
Yeah, it's fixed.
Oh, wow, okay. So it's basically how you run your car, then not how you set up your car. Meanwhile, back in second place, Ryan Worley in a huge battle now between Aaron Tribble. Look at Scott Warren. Big dive to the inside of Tribble as he's going to try and get a 2-for-1 here as they go through 3 and 4. Worley going to be diving it on that outside line to try and fend off Warren, but Warren might have the better line coming out of here.
Yeah, certainly. And Warren had a great run on the coming out of turn 2. He's going to try to work that inside now, and he's gone. What happened to him? He must have clipped the grass going through the tri-oval.
It's a very scary moment for him then.
Yeah, this is going through 3 and 4 here, so it's going to take a second before we see what happens to Warren. But we were so focused on the battle between Worley and Tribble, he had to have clipped the grass through the second dog leg.
Yeah, he had to have done.
Oh,
because,
no, he didn't. No, he just lost the back end.
Yeah, so maybe he might have got too much heat into those rear tires, and just that dive he made through 3 and 4 might have put too much heat in the tires, and maybe lost a lot of traction going through the quad oval there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's one of the things you will see as the run goes on. If you start pushing this car, the back end will start to really heat up, as you had mentioned. If you start seeing guys wiggling down the back straightaway, that's just a sign of the tires. The rear tires are way too hot. You got to back it down a little bit. Then you'll get the tires in the right operating temperature again. You'll be going fine.
As we have a special guest in the booth with us right now, Byron Rodney, joining us from his the cab in his truck. Byron, you enjoying the race so far?
I'm loving this race so far. You got me.
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, how does it all sound? I'm trying this thing out for the first time. I can actually jump in the booth and commentate the race with you guys from the road, from the front seat of an 18-wheeler, while I'm parked, by the way.
I was going to say, I hope you're not driving while you're doing that. So.
No, not at all. Great race by the looks of it, guys. Comers and goers, I love Atlanta, man. The abrasiveness on the tires makes you manage them so well.
Absolutely. One man that's handling his tires very well is Cedric Hunter. He is out to a 1.5 second lead here, Frank, and really seems to be enjoying himself right now.
Yeah, and that battle behind him for second is really heating up between Ryan Worley and Aaron Tribble. You saw there at the top of the screen, Tribble just getting a little loose coming out of turn 2. It looks like Worley's going to be able to keep that position, though, on the outside line. But you're right, Hunter is well and truly off to the races here.
And that's exactly what you were saying before. That high line, the longer they go off into the run, the more they favor that high line. And you saw Ryan Worley really use that to his advantage there as he managed to not only get around Aaron Tribble again, but just get away from him as well.
Well, the only thing you can do with these cars on the low line, you have to have the ability to drive a real loose car. If you can get your left side tires hooked on that paint, that white line in that corner, you're going to get a real loose condition, but you're going to get a real fast corner exit.
Yeah, that's we are working currently lap 27 of 120 here, and Frank, we've already seen one take it down pit road. Actually, we've got two in pit road now. Blaze Richardson just coming in. Shane Posey making his first scheduled stop of the night. We've got pit stops starting already. What is that going to do for the drivers with the fresh tires? They're going to be slipping and sliding all over the place again.
I think Posey is actually done from what I can see.
Out.
So Posey's done. I think Blaze Richardson, Richardson's in his stall right now. But it's certainly, it's not worth coming in right now. I'm sure the tires don't feel all that great right now, but you do have to ride it out a little bit as we see Logan Jones trying to work on J.D. Woodward for fourth. This is still very early days here, and you can see both Woodward and Tribble working that outside line and making it work to their benefit.
One man that's slowly making his way up through the field, and he's up 2 spots already. Jeff Price, who got he'll even tell you that was a very surprising podium for himself last week. He's going to be looking more like the same this week, Byron, as he gets a bit of a slide coming out of 2 there. So looking for a decent result here tonight, or probably something similar to last week.
Well, he's going to be searching for the grip right now on that track. Being as how that we are working lap 29 of 120, you've seen guys coming in for tires already because they're feeling the looseness of it. Now, I can tell you from experience, you get 30 laps plus on these tires. If you take a look at a car that has fresh tires, how hard he can hustle around the track versus how much time you give up on these worn tires. Pretty soon the time starts evening out. Once one guy hits pit road, the rest are going to want to come in because they're just going to be losing nothing but real estate at that point.
Yeah, everybody really spread out right now as well. Aaron Tribble just not able to keep up with Ryan Worley anymore. The closest battle, actually it's not really a battle anymore, Frank. It looks like J.D. Woodward has kind of lost the back of Logan Jones right there, as we've seen a lot of separation from these guys now.
Yeah, Jones has been able to make the pass on Woodward. As you can see, he got a little too comfortable pushing on that outside, and now the back end's starting to kick out as now John Fowler in the 52 coming under pressure from Scott Warren in the 76. Also further back in the field, J.C. Windsor still battling with Timothy Jennings and Joe Gautier as Greg McConey has gone around.
Yeah, we have a big incident for Greg McConey. It looks like his own teammate got into the back of him, and he did. And McConey, having a spin there, didn't hit anything, but that is just going to put even more pressure on his night here tonight.
Yeah, that looked like Pap had got a run, committed to the move, and then waited. Well, then reconsidered the move and got into the back of the 12. This is a night that's gone from bad to worse so far for McConey.
Yeah, he's back up and running again, but he's just been lapped by the race leader, Cedric Hunter. Now, he's going to need a caution to try and set himself back up again. He will have the lucky dog, as Blaze Richardson is multiple laps down now, so he will not get the lucky dog. That will go to this man in the 12, but he's going to need a caution for that to happen. And by the way, by looking at how all separated that everybody is right now, Byron, doesn't look like we're going to get a caution anytime soon.
No, I don't see a caution coming anytime soon. And I've also noticed, as I've taken a look through the field, most everyone has drifted up the track a lane or two as they're working this thing, looking for the high side momentum. And even, just watching Aaron Tribble coming off of turn 2, he got a little wiggle out of it. So these cars are definitely hurting for tires right now.
Yeah, as Tribble just doing well to stay. Not really doing anything at the moment. He's kind of in no man's land. He's behind Ryan Worley by about 0.8 of a second. He's about 0.6 of a second ahead of Logan Jones. Biggest battle right now will be between Jeff Price and John Fowler. Fowler trying to work that outside line, but Price still doing all right, Frank, on that inside line.
Yeah, Price just took that position. Boy, Scott Warren had a big wiggle going into turn 3, and that's what we were talking about before. The rear tires heating up to the point where you start slipping on the straightaway, and that's that's just a sign that the 76 has just been pushing a little too hard at this point.
Yeah, and that's the second time we've seen him do that tonight. Byron is he seems to be struggling with those that tire life right now.
Well, another thing you got to do on this track, too, is you need to manage your throttle as well as you manage that steering wheel. If you're getting on that throttle a little too soon with worn tires, you're heating up that right rear. And once that right rear gets a lot of temperature in it, it just gets greasy. And that's why we see that wiggle coming. And that's why you see these guys trying to stick to that high line to cool off those tires. It's going to come down to tire management, who's going to win this race.
John Fowler nursing a wounded car right now. He just hit the wall. As you were talking there, Byron, but Frank, that's going to hurt him now. Fowler going to fall backwards and relinquish that spot to Warren, who's struggling with his tyres, but now Fowler having to struggle with damage.
Yep, J.D. Woodward also hitting the wall as well, which we saw on camera. If I could just step aside for 1 second here. You two take it away.
Yep, as Fowler now, Woodward actually under pressure from Jeff Price now as they come through the quad oval actually as Price, like I said before, slowly but surely working his way forward, and he will move up to the 5th spot now, Byron, as it's a side-by-side coming out of 2 between Woodward and Price.
Yeah, he was to take that short way around the track and do that slide job, but he just did not have the grip to hold that. It looks like he might be able to get it done coming off an exit here. As he does, he will slide up across the nose of the 15 and take that position. But in doing that, he just abused the tires for about a lap and a half, and now he's just going to have to cruise it. Everyone is just hurting. The fuel, they can run 50 laps on fuel, but I doubt that they're going to want to run 50 laps on tires.
I wouldn't have thought so, as Price does move up to 5th place, and we're seeing a battle brewing between Ryan Worley and Aaron Tribble as well as they come through turns 3 and 4, and Tribble has managed to get that gap down once again as we complete another lap here, and they're looking to put a lap on Greg McConey here, and McConey might be holding up his teammate here, and that might be what's causing the gap to come down here, Byron. Worley might be in a bit of trouble very soon as Tribble is getting very much closer now.
Yeah, passing is not easy here after 40 laps on your tires. All the goodie is gone. His teammate, the 12, did not help him whatsoever. Marconi just, he should have got up and out of the way a little sooner. Allows the 22 of Aaron Tribble to close that gap, and Tribble is right in his slipstream.
Yeah, and there it is. That is now your battle for P2 as that has restarted again as Tribble taking a higher line coming through turns 1 and 2. Trying to get a bit more of a slingshot coming down the backstretch here, but Worley seems to have the speed more than Tribble going in towards turn 3, and Tribble not able to close that gap as Worley going to take a high line. Tribble going to try and go the short way around and now finds himself alongside. Going to be a dragged race down towards the line here between Tribble and Worley. Give that position to Worley at the line.
Yeah, Tribble's still going to work that bottom side. He's got the short way around the track. He just doesn't have the grip, and you can see him working that throttle, getting real tight, sliding up, and having to back out of it so he doesn't put his door onto the left side door of Tribble.
Pit stop starting to begin here now at Atlanta. J.D. Woodward bringing it down to pit road for his first scheduled stop of the night. So green flag pit stops are in effect right now. John Fowler has put it on the hauler. He is out of this race right now. Not really sure what happened, but he is out. But J.D. Woodward making a scheduled stop here. He is coming back right out of pit road. Nobody else coming down with him, though, so he might be playing the strategy game as he comes out of pit road. And Cedric Hunter still leading this thing. The battle's still on, though, for second place between Worley and Tribble.
Yeah, I've been taking a look at the lap time. Cedric Hunter, he's been hauling the mail about 0.2 of a lap faster than everyone else on the field. He's turning 30.059 lap times. Now that Woodward's been in the pits, I'm interested in seeing what his lap time is going to be once he gets those tires up to temperature for the next couple of laps. That's his opportunity to make up a lot of ground.
Well, he certainly knows how to get a race win done. He did that last week. Frank, I don't know if you know back yet, but this battle between Worley and Tribble still going on here as now Tribble looking around the outside. Can Tribble get this pass done before the pit stop, or is he going to look for a pass through the pit stop?
Yeah, that was really close to being towards that outside wall. This could be a situation where you would pull a road racing strategy, box to overtake. come in a lap early. You have the position. If you want to try to jump somebody, it certainly works. If you're behind them, they can't react. So maybe this could be the opportunity where he tries to put on those fresh tires, get in a lap or so before Worley, and try to make that ground up coming out on the outlap.
Yeah, this battle, though, is really starting to hinder them because you see in the distance, look who's starting to creep up on these guys, the 23 and the Dr. Pepper Chevrolet, Byron. He's starting to slowly reel these guys in now. Logan Jones might try and capitalize on this battle if it carries on for too long.
No, you get a track this abrasive with tires that worn. You start racing side by side. The guy behind you that's all by himself is loving it because he's just eating up real estate, running the line that he wants to run. And the guys in front of him have to take a line that they not necessarily want to be in.
Yep, still only one taken down pit road. That was JD Woodward. We've had 2 retirements so far here tonight. That is John Fowler and Shane Posey. Didn't see what happened to either driver. We saw John Fowler hit the wall pretty hard about 10 laps ago. Was Tribble getting very close to the wall there, coming out of 2, nearly ended up in tears for the 22 there.
Yeah, we saw how wild he was there. We're riding on board with Ryan Worley right now. And that's just a product of the setup of this car and the way this track works. Really heats up those rear tires, gets that car in a very unstable condition. As, boy, Worley doing a great job of holding on, trying to move lines, trying to figure out what line works best for him. And thanks to the multi-groove racing, is the 22 getting loose again there. Thanks to multi-groove racing, that's something you can do now, is you can work around the racetrack, find where you have grip as compared to where somebody else has grip. You're not just stuck running the inside line anymore.
Looks like Tribble's starting to struggle to find grip because he's getting very loose. He's looking very tail happy going through the corners there, and he's trying to find the best grip possible, Byron, and it doesn't seem to be working out for him right now.
Nah, he's burned the goody clean off of that right rear tire in that battle that he had with Worley, and now he's just settling in and riding it out until he can get to his pit stall and get 4 fresh Dr. Feelgoods on all 4 corners and get back after it.
Yeah, running lap number 49 now here of 120. We are very quickly approaching halfway. We've only had 1 taken down pit road. We are expecting green flag. Well, we've got 2 in pit road.
94 of Windsor coming in.
Yep, so Windsor coming into pit road right now. So we've had a second taken down pit road. So pit stops should be a thing very, very soon here, Frank. Just a question, how much longer can they hold out there before they do have to bring it in?
If you want to try to make this on one more stop, you got to do it at least 10 more laps. And it looks like for some guys, like you could see Cedric Hunter, 5.2 seconds ahead of Ryan Worley and Aaron Tribble. It looks like he can do that. But there are some guys, like as we just said, Windsor, Timothy Jennings and Joe Gauthier are still battling each other in the 51 and 67 as they pass across your screen now. Those guys have been battling and have been doing pretty hard battling this entire run. So it's certainly, these guys might be coming in a little bit sooner.
And Gauthier, that's the first time we've mentioned him here tonight. It's good to see him getting in the mix of it right now as he's now working to the inside of Jennings as they come through 3 and 4. Just doesn't quite have the pace of Jennings to try and get around him, Byron, as this probably the only closest battle we have on the track right now.
Yeah, and I've been watching these two, and it is tough. 60 laps is a halfway point on these things, and I think these guys are going to be hard-pressed to make a tank of go fast last 60 laps with the pace that they're running here tonight.
More takers down pit road. We've had Raymond Dormer coming down pit road as well. He's just left pit road, actually. He's back out on track once again in that cat number 70. So another taker down pit road. They're coming down slowly but surely here, Frank. Is that the best way to do it possible? Just come down one at a time? Or are you just going to try and follow what the leader does?
I think Hunter, is pretty committed to come in at least on lap 61. What I'm interested in seeing is what I'm showing right now. Trafari and Papp. Jason Papp looks like he has so much more speed right now. And just that last lap alone, Pap put a half a second on Connor Trafari. That one has come alive here as this run has gone on.
That he has, and want to point out the man that made the first pit stop of the night, JD Woodward. He is chasing down the leader to try and get himself back on the lead lap now. If Woodward does that moment, bearing in mind now, Frank, he's put about 15, maybe somewhere between 15 and 20 laps on his tyres already. Does that give him an advantage when the pit stops do come around? Because obviously he's going to have more life on those tyres, might be slightly bit slower than the rest of them.
He's in a situation right now where he's going to be making a two-stop because he came into pit on lap 41. He's already going to be on 20-lap older tires when the leaders come into pit. That, and I'm pretty sure he's not going to be able to make it on fuel here. He's going to have to go 80 laps on a tank of fuel, and that to me doesn't seem possible. He's committed to the two-stop strategy, which is go as hard as you can for as long as you can and see what ground you could make up on the fresh tires.
And
I'm thinking that he's hoping for a caution to come out and get him on the same pit strategy as everyone else later on in the race.
Well, we're going to see the speed difference right here because right behind him now is Raymond Dormer, and he's just coming to the pit road in the last lap or so, and this is the speed difference between 1 lap old tyres and I believe that's 15 lap old tyres, and Dormer just sailing it around the outside on the 15. So Dormer Woodward already starting to lose speed in that 15 there, Frank.
Yeah, but he's got the speed on the driver in front of him that he's watching, and that is the 13 of Cedric Hunter. You can see there's Hunter in the purple and gold car right at the foreground. There's the 15 in the background there. That's not that far away, and that's a gap that's been closing here over these last couple of laps. So while he doesn't have the tire advantage over somebody like the 70 of Raymond Dormer, he certainly does over Cedric Hunter, and he's trying to use it before Hunter comes in.
Yeah, and there is Dormer actually coming down, coming right up to the back of the 13 already. So Dormer using those tires to his advantage as you'd expect him to do. They've just Hunter's just put another lap on Blaze Richardson, and Richardson, he's had a bit of a baptism of fire here, and as he hits the wall again coming out of turn 2. He's had a bit of a baptism of fire in this series, and it just seems to be continuing here tonight.
Yeah, it's went wrong for him right at the very beginning of the race, as we see just a little bit behind these guys here, Jeff Price and Logan Jones, just swapping the 4th position right now. Ryan Worley and Aaron Tribble are back at it again here. So you've got 1st and 2nd in the foreground. Second and 3rd in the foreground, 4th and 5th in the background. And it's great racing here throughout the top 5.
Yeah, and Jeff Price has been impressing the heck out of me these last couple of weeks. Got that podium last week. He's looking very punchy again this week, and we'll be looking to try and take advantage of this battle going on between Tribble and Worley, as he's actually catching those two as well. As actually they're going to bring it down, Worley and Tribble into pit road.
Yep, they're both in at the same time, and I think Worley might be getting a speeding penalty with the way he locked up. Remember those yellow cones there? That is the pit timeline. You have to be down to pit road speed, which is 50 miles an hour by the time you get to those cones, and I'm not sure if Worley was or not.
Yeah, and Scott Warren just hitting the wall there coming out of turn 2. He's having another difficult night. It's Cedric Hunter now down in pit road.
Yep. Connor Trafari in as well. That'll give Jeff Price. Nope, it will not. It will give Logan Jones instead the lead of the race, as both Price and Warren come in, and Warren
he's
a little hot in as well.
Yeah, he's crossed that line. He's crossed that white line. You saw 2 tires over that white line, and Byron, tell us what that does if you do cross that line.
You cross that white line on pit exit, you're going to have to come back in. You cross that white line on pit entry, you're going to get yourself at least a 25-second hold.
Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on Scott Warren, see if he does get a penalty. He gets his left side tires on. He might have got lucky here, and he did get lucky, so he's a very lucky boy. He does lose out to Jeff Price here, but like I said, Frank, Scott Warren, a very lucky boy, even though he did cross that line coming into pit road.
Yeah, and Ryan Worley not getting a speeding penalty either in the 00, so both of them pretty lucky as we take a look now at the current race leader, Jason Papp, has Greg McConey behind him. Logan Jones has surrendered the race lead. He is in the pits. J.D. Woodward now would get the second position. He will be the race leader when all of this cycles out, and he's got about 6.5 seconds on Cedric Hunter, who's trying to get around Blaze Richardson again in the 18, does successfully. Connor Trafari right there as well. Trafari in the 48 is a lap down. Aaron Tribble and Ryan Worley, these two still battling for position. They're another 6 seconds behind the 13.
Yeah, and they're on sorry, Byron. They're on fresh tires. Is Tribble going to lose the back end coming through? Turns 3 and 4. Still trying to hold on.
There he goes.
There he goes. Around he goes. Into the grass. He's going to bring it back up on the track around people. We might have a caution here if we do.
Yep, that would be it.
Oh, my goodness. That has played out perfectly for Papp and Woodward.
Yes, definitely. Jason
That's going to
Papp.
put Woodward back on the same pit strategy as everyone else, and he can make it to the end. Get another set of tires and go.
And that would put Jason Papp as well. I'm not sure if these guys would be coming into pit, speaking of Hunter and Worley and Price, since they just came out of pit road. But Papp will certainly be in a good situation right now as well.
Well, if I'm at Atlanta and I've got 5 laps on my tires and that caution came out, I'm coming back down pit lane.
Yeah. That's Tribble bringing out the first caution of the night after falling victim to cold tires there. Frank, and I know he'd already turned, what, two, maybe 3 laps on those tires, but it takes a while for those tires to heat up, and Tribble literally falling victim to that through 3 and 4.
Yeah, and especially with how loose the setup is here at this racetrack, it's not all that uncommon a thing. Is now Papp, Woodward. Wow, everybody's coming in as well, including Cedric Hunter, who came in just a couple of laps ago. So the entire top 13, who are all on the lead lap, are all coming in now.
And like I said, this plays out perfectly for Papp and Woodward. Papp, though, showing a bit of damage on his right front owing to that the collision he had with his teammate. Not sure if that's going to hurt him once we go back to green, but he is going to be the first driver out of pit road. And he will be. So yeah. Papp going to have the button once we go back to green. Actually, it's going to go to Logan Jones, who's actually the only driver of those people under the green flag to take it down pit road.
Yeah, and for a guy like Logan Jones, that really doesn't make too much of a difference. Only 3 laps difference on a set of tires it's inconsequential at a track like this.
Yeah, the only driver that didn't come out straight away was J.D. Woodward. He's fallen all the way down to P9 now, as this won't bother Woodward too much here, Byron. He did this last week and still fired his way back to the front and actually won the race, so Woodward won't be too concerned about falling this far down the field.
No, I don't think it...
Break?
Yeah. Break.
No.
Woodward, he had that early stop. We knew he was going to have to do another 2 stops. I think he was counting on a caution to come out at one point, and we saw it come out, worked right into his hands. Yeah, he is going to fall down a little bit, but I don't think it's going to hurt him. He's now got a set of fresh tires on that thing, and he's on the same pit cycle as everyone else. The guy that looks like the super genius of the bunch is Jason Papp, holding it out as long as he did. Caution came right out to him. I have been checking the drivers' chats. They went, 60 laps on that opening run? A couple of the drivers were reporting that their tire percentages were down to 8 in the right front.
Yeah, as while we're waiting to go back to green, we're just going to take a slight quick break here for this race right now. So we'll be back when we go back to green. But for right now, Logan Jones leading this thing. We'll be right back as you hear from a few of our sponsors right here. as we are back to go racing here. Byron, why don't you get us going started here for this restart?
Taking a look at the pace trucks, got the field in tow. Logan Jones, he has control of the field. He selected the inside lane as everyone else is lining up. Jason Papp to his outside elbow. Pace truck takes that hard left turn into pit lane, waiting for the green flag. Green flag is out. Logan Jones hits the loud pedal, says, see you boys, I'm out of here. Catch me if you can. Jason Papp and the whole rest of the gang says, oh yeah, we got something for you, as they hustle it off into the turn 1-2 complex, 3 wide.
Yeah, we're going to have pack racing for the first 10, 15 laps again, just like we did before. And already Cedric Hunter hustling and harrying for the lead, though, but Logan Jones not having any of it as they come down towards turn 3 here, Frank. And Logan Jones on those older tyres, he might have the speed, might not have the, well, he might have the speed, but not the tyre advantage right here as Hunter going down the inside with 3 wide, goes through the quad over. That's Aaron Tribble trying to make a lane for himself.
Yeah, Tribble and Price both getting very close to each other. Ryan Worley having to jump up a little bit as Tribble, and now Price around, Papp around as well. Somehow able to save it, both of them. Yeah,
Price saved it. Papp probably struggling with that damage on his car as well. That's probably what's forced him back a bit further than now. Here comes Dormer to try and take a position away from him, but he falls all the way down from first to P10 as Cedric Hunter resumes the lead now. He's taking it away from Logan Jones here. Logan Jones looking very impressive here tonight as they're coming up to put a lap on Joe Gauthier right now.
Yeah, another guy
sitting Gauthier, Jennings.
Another guy sitting in the top 5, in points. Logan Jones had a very good, very quiet year in that number 23. As wouldn't you know it, Tribble and Worley back battling again, this time for third position instead of second.
Yeah, as these guys have been absolutely inseparable since the very first drop of the green flag, and they're going for it once again as Worley looks to the inside of Tribble, not able to make the move work this time by as Tribble has the better speed coming out of turn 2. But again, we're under this pack racing mentality as Jennings almost getting into the side of Logan Jones there, Byron.
Yeah, I've been watching this battle with Worley and Tribble, by the way. You know, I know it's tradition. You know, a lot of races we pick an ESPN driver of the night. Man, but if I could pick an ESPN pair, these two have been trading blows this whole time that I've been here with you in the booth.
Yeah, as they come out of turn 2, they're right on the back of Logan Jones now, and Tribble going to try and take a look to the inside of the 23. Not going to make it work this time. Going to look to the outside this time, though, and see if he can put a move on him. And Frank, is he going to get the move done? He's not going to do so well this time, right?
He's got the momentum, though, on that outside lane, and that 22's been trying to use that momentum all race long. He's also been quicker than Jones on merit tonight, has Tribble. Stable run coming out of turn 2. He should be able to fly by going into turn 3.
Yeah, Scott Warren just sitting back again, saving those, well, I say saving those tires. Didn't do a very good job. Last time it was almost collision between Logan Jones and Tribble, and Worley almost getting caught up in that one. And I was just about to say Scott Warren just sitting back and waiting for something to happen. Something definitely did happen right there, Frank.
Yeah, certainly did, and that's the kind of close racing you get with guys on different tire strategies, albeit only 3 laps difference. But still, loose racetrack, different set of tires. The 76 of Warren now really putting the attack on Ryan Worley. And Worley in that 00 still hanging tough on that outside line. Tribble now, his best option, try to run away to try to get back up to that 13.
Yeah, and it's been very difficult to try and get up to the 13 so far this race. He's been in another league all to himself tonight. So, again, Cedric Hunter looking very strong for a race win. Unfortunately, he's been in this position before, Byron, but not been able to pull it off in previous races.
No, it's tough, especially here at Atlanta. You know, these guys have been fired off in anger for what, 7 laps now since they took the green, and already you're seeing the cars wiggle and get a little loose on there, and they're already starting to search for grip and lanes to run.
Yeah, look at this battle for second, though, Frank. It is getting absolutely wild now. We've got 5 cars in the running for actually made that 4 cars. I didn't realize Jennings was still there. JD Woodward's trying to creep up between these two as Worley almost into the wall.
Yeah, we're riding on board with Scott Warren when he had that run coming off at 2. He didn't leave himself much room to make that move to the inside of the 00. Almost wiped him out.
Yeah, I was just about to say before that happened, JD Woodward's starting to creep up behind these guys. You see him right there, right behind Timothy Jennings. Now, the more like I said earlier in this race, the more these guys battle up, the more the people that are in clear air are going to catch up, and that's exactly what's happening with Woodward right now, Frank.
It's happening with Jeff Price as well. Price is starting to sneak his way back into this run. He's only a second behind now, is the 14 of Price. Connor Trafari another second behind Price, but that 14 starting to make a move up as now Ryan Worley takes over the third position, or at least tries to complete the pass to take over the third position from Logan Jones.
Yeah, Logan Jones may have used up the goodie on those tires in that last little melee, but you take a look at like Woodward and Price, they're loving what they're seeing out of their windshield. Too wide racing here at Atlanta, and they're saving their stuff. They know they got something for later on in this run.
That they do as they come out of turn 4 once again. We're about to complete lap 79. We're on lap 80. No, we're on lap 79. I apologize. The looks like, oh no, we're on lap 80. It's still as slow as always. Anyway, Cedric Hunter now out to almost a second lead now. Tribble is still within drafting range here, Frank, but Hunter's still looking ever so strong out there in the lead.
Yeah, Hunter certainly is, but still this battle side by side between Jones and Warren. Now Warren's finally going to get the position that's allowing Timothy Jennings a lane on the outside, who we're riding on board with right now. But Cedric Hunter, you're right, he's gotten out in clean air in that number 13, has been able to set sail, hasn't had too much of a fight here in this race, either on the first stint or on this one. As we hit 40 laps to go, that 13 looking solid for that first race win.
Yeah, but like I said before, Frank, he's been in this position before and he's not been able to pull it off in the previous races. Can he finally pull it off this time? He's done this, got off into a lead, but a caution has always caught him out, or something has caught him out, and he's actually thrown it away.
Yeah, I mean, he's also had to deal with a competitor who's not here, and that's Tony Ball, who has been absolutely dominant in these mile-and-a-half races thus far this season. I believe it was a start and park scenario last week at Phoenix that dropped the 8 out, and then you're right, it was that late race caution for the 13 that got him in that position that he was in with J.D. Woodward, who is now trying to battle with Jeff Price. There's the 14 popping in. So there's quite a bit that could still happen here.
Price has actually just got around J.D. Woodward, so Price is actually on the move here. Woodward actually starting to fall backwards, and Byron, that number 14, still looking very sprightly, still looking very threatening for at least a podium here tonight.
Yeah, he's just sitting here watching these guys side by side and burn their stuff up. Jeff Price is just running his lane, a very conservative run, but he's just keeping the leaders in touch. I think we're going to be looking at the 14, trying to make a charge to the front. If this stays green the whole way in, we don't see another caution, I think he's going to be a factor in this race.
We're looking at him in car right now. There's really not a lot of play in that steering wheel, which tells me he's got himself a very good handling race car. He's figured out what that car likes. Still a little bit of sawing, not too bad on corner exit, which is what you would expect here. But he's driving a very calm race car right now.
Yeah, don't look now, but he's turning it into a three-way dance for the fourth position.
Wow.
I mean, Jennings a lap down right now currently, and that's Logan Jones there for fifth, right in front of him in the 23. Just ahead of them, though, Ryan Worley still trying to fight off the 76 of Scott Warren.
Yeah, as Worley and Tribble have, I think they've called a ceasefire for now. They've been at it since lap 1 and decided now we're going to battle other people for a change. As Tribble now setting off in search of Cedric Hunter, but the gap is growing ever so slightly between Tribble and Hunter. It's now 1.1 seconds between the 13 and the 22. We're going back to Logan Jones. I can't help but sense, Frank, that he is slowly starting to fade here with those older tires.
Yeah, again, only 3 lap older tires, so that would come down to more how he's been running the tires. And we've seen all night the guys in front of him are the guys that have had pace over him overall. So I think he's just starting to settle in now to where his pace would dictate he should be.
Yeah, absolutely. As Warren and Worley still ever closer right now, as the gap is about 0.2 of a second between the two, as Warren taking a very high line coming out of turn 4, and Byron, what is Warren got to do here to try and get around him? Obviously, the people are taking the high line, people are taking the short way around, but nobody seems to know really what the best way around is right now.
No, not at the mid stage of this tire run. And taking a look at Warren and Worley as they race, Worley's in his rearview mirror. He's seeing what lane Warren wants to run, and he's keeping his car up there, disturbing that air. So Warren can't get the downforce on the front end that he needs to make that turn in, because he knows Warren wants to high side it. You can tell Worley wants to run the bottom, but he's going to hog that lane and take his air from him and hold that position.
Yeah, we saw during the last run as well, Byron, that Worley running that middle lane with quite a bit of success. And when he found that middle lane, he started to pull away from Aaron Tribble in what was second position at the time. Scott Warren has been pretty consistent up at the top, so they both have found their lane. It's just now Worley's got to try a way to keep pace and still defend the 76.
Yeah, as we're still seeing this battle going on. Warren's starting to lose the back end slightly through turn 4 during that last lap. So trying to keep the car underneath him as Jeff Price now finally getting around, I believe that is Logan Jones, it is, and he's up to the top 5 again. But how long will that be? Because Logan Jones still trying to keep it wound up on the high side. Finally has to give it up. Attempted the crossover there, but didn't quite work out for the 23.
Yeah, no, Price has a very solid race car right now. And that 23, we've been seeing him start to fall back a little bit. That 14 we saw in the first run, very good on older tires. So I wouldn't be surprised if Price would get another podium here. He still has 30 laps to try to get up there, and I think he can.
Well, I think pretty much where you're seeing these guys run, it's run what you brung. They've got what they've got, especially with the tire wear that we get here in Atlanta. Another caution to tighten up the field. That'd make it a real interesting race, because you'd see wholesale pit stops happen then. But these guys, I think you're pretty much seeing them settle down to what they got. Jeff Price, I've noticed he has started searching different lines. He's found some more pace in that thing. He's closing that gap between him and Warren.
The gap between Scott Warren and Jeff Price is about a second, so ever so slightly out of draft range is the 14, but hopefully he will get into it very soon. We saw this last week.
In the grass on the infield.
That is Blaze Richardson. Hopefully he can keep it down there, and he does get it going. Hopefully he can keep it down on the apron and will not trigger another caution. He does not. So we stay under green flag conditions. But as I was saying about Jeff Price right there, Frank, it took him a while to figure out the line at Phoenix last week. And once he did, he was absolutely on fire and just passing people left, right, and center. And I'm wondering if that is exactly what he's trying to do here tonight.
I think it's less of trying to find the line and more just trying to wait for those tires to come in. So if you're in a tire save mode, if you're in a tire conservation mindset, you're gonna be running slower on the short run. So you're gonna be falling back. That's something that really, if you're falling back, of course it should alarm you, and you should also try to limit how far you fall back. But also it's expected. You have to fall back. You're gonna fall back as other guys run faster, try to burn their stuff off. But you know, if you get a long run, which we got here tonight, you're going to be able to march your way back up towards the front, and Price is certainly doing that.
Wall is starting to close the gap on Aaron Tribble again, so I'm guessing the ceasefire is starting to come to an end between the 00 and the 22, as the 22's taking a very deep line going through 3 and 4, whereas the 00 is taking a very high line going through the final part of the course. And it seems like the 22 and the 00, Byron, seem to be on a very, very level playing field right now, and just seem to be cancelling each other out right now once they do get next to each other.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the lines that they run through 3 and 4 specifically, because as you know, the suspension coming off of turn 4, headed for the start-finish line, it unloads and the car wants to snap loose. And watching the different lines that these guys are running with their different driving styles, I'm seeing them, pick up pace at certain parts of the track and split apart their pace at other parts of the track. It's a testament to the skill that the guys in this league have.
Oh, as Tribble gets a bit sideways coming out of turn 2, that's not going to help his pace right now as Wally gets even closer, Frank, as Wally is looking like he's getting a bit impatient now, being stuck there back in 3rd place. He's got away from Scott Warren, as Warren going very high out of 4, and now wants to get that 2nd place back.
And Jeff Price has actually taken the position away from Scott Warren as well, so that moves Price up to the 4th position. Gives a little bit of breathing room to the 00 from behind, but that's also these guys. You talked about Worley getting impatient behind the 22. He's still far enough back to where he's got to find a way to catch him first in order to be really impatient. But I'm sure once he gets up to him, it's going to be game on.
Yeah, Jeff Price is going to be looking for those two to start battling, because they're going to be putting a lot of heat and wear on those tires as they get close to battling for position. And Jeff Price, that's just to his to his benefit. He'll be able to just get up on him with the stuff he's got left and be able to get around him. Cedric Hunter, on the other hand, I think this is his race to lose at this point, as he seems to have the whole field covered.
So as Tony would say, you can get your hate mail coming to Byron Rodney. He's in a truck in the middle of nowhere, P.O. Box OU812. But yeah, you're right about Cedric Hunter. We're talking about patience here, and the most patient man out on the track right now is Cedric Hunter. Frank, he's enjoying a 2.2 second lead over Aaron Tribble, and as Byron said, it's in his hands pretty much at this point.
Yeah, and it's been in his hands really as Jason Papp now comes into pit road. He has done a fantastic job of saving these tires. He's done a fantastic job of finding his lane and sticking to it. He appears to be one of those guys that feels comfortable in the middle lane in 1 and 2, down at the bottom of 3 and 4, which is typically what you would see in real life. You'd see guys rim riding in 1 and 2 in real life here, and then down at the bottom in 3 and 4. So certainly has found his groove and has certainly used it tonight. He's up to a 2.3 second lead over Aaron Tribble.
Yeah.
Don't look now, guys, but Scott Warren has decided to pour on the coals and give Jeff Price another challenge for that position.
Yeah, Scott Warren, I've just noticed that myself. Scott Warren started to close the gap back up to the 14. Question is, has Scott Warren got the tires underneath him to try and mount an attack here? Because Warren, just like a couple of other drivers around here, has been struggling to keep the grip underneath him here tonight, Frank, and frankly, just has not been able to control that 76. It's been a bit of a diva tonight.
That's all these cars have been divas tonight. They've all been loose. They've all had issues. And the 76 of Warren's got a little bit more issues because he's been rim riding. He's been up against that wall. And it's a little bit less forgiving when you're running that high on the racetrack. You get some damage on the right side of your car. We saw what happened to Greg McConey. That really hurts you for the remainder of the run until you get that damage fixed. And that's what the 76 who Scott Warren is dealing with right now.
Side-by-side action between J.D. Woodward and J.C. Windsor. We got Woodward on the outside, Windsor on the inside. Look at Jennings, though. He's trying to get a lap back off these guys from the outside as Woodward close to the wall. Woodward actually looking very slow there. I wonder if he's hit the wall somewhere there, Frank.
Yeah, that was interesting how Woodward just gave that up. Let's take a look back at it here. This is going down the back straightaway. 3 and 4, this is where we picked them up. And that's... Boy, wow, he took a really wide line through that first dog leg. I'm surprised. That's... might be somebody... that might have been him looking at his wheel or looking at something. Not necessarily paying attention, and then, oh, wait, there's a kink here.
Yeah, so Woodward not enjoying this last part of the race. We are Coming up to 15 laps to go now as Cedric Hunter now comes down towards the line. 15 laps he's only got to circulate now around Atlanta Motor Speedway, barring the fact that we don't have a caution right now as the battle for second place has fizzled out slightly. Jeff Price has got away from Scott Warren, and Logan, actually there's not really any battling going on around the track right now, Byron.
No, not at all right now, because it's pretty much tires. You've been out there. We had pit stops at what, lap 60, 65? You're at 35, 40 laps on these tires. And Cedric Hunter, you know, he's out there in front. Aaron Tribble's got a nice gap over Worley, who's got another nice gap over Price. A caution is very likely with tires this worn, with guys trying to get another position before we see the checkers fly.
And that's the issue right now. We're not seeing anybody close the gap. We're not seeing anybody lose time either. And this is the part of the run right now, Frank, where they're pretty much in status quo right now, not able to gain any advantage, not able to lose any either.
No, and this is, you're waiting for somebody to make a mistake at this point. Your car pretty much is what it is. Everyone around you is pretty much, they are where they are. Closest battle on track right now is between Scott Warren and Logan Jones for the 5th position, and they're separated by a second. Timothy Jennings, coming up on the back of Logan Jones, came into pit on lap 90, so he is on fresher tires than almost anybody else on the racetrack. Jason Papp on the freshest tires, sitting in 14th position right now. But other than that, yeah, it's you've got what you got at this point.
Yeah, and like I said, provided that there's no cautions now, that will fall into the wheelhouse of Cedric Hunter, who seems to be getting faster at this late stage of the race because he's now gained another second over Aaron Tribble. The gap now almost 3.4 seconds over second place now, Byron. And you think, like you said before, it's definitely his to lose at this point now.
Watching him run that conservative line, he's had no challenge since he's able to step it out on him. So he's running his line that he wants to run, saving those tires. I'm watching him lay down 31.9 second laps as opposed to everybody else's 32 plus. And he's just legging it out even further. He's got a 3-second gap. He doesn't have to push it as hard, and he knows he's only got to get around here 10 more times and he can bring home a checkered flag.
And that graphic,
sorry, carry on.
That graphic we just showed there with that plus time right there, that is Hunter faster than Tribble. He has been legging this gap out. We'll see what it is here. And he's been unbelievably consistent as well. These last 6 or 7 laps have all been within about 1/10 of a second of each other. So Hunter on cruise control right now.
Yeah, and he's determined to get this race win tonight to the point where he is not slowing down at all, despite the gap that he has. He is driving like a stabbed rat right now, just not backing off at all. He just wants to get this across the line in first place and finally put his name on a trophy here this season. He just wants to make sure he's done it, and he doesn't care how dominating he is at this point.
Tribble had a big issue there as Ryan Worley now is caught right back up to the rear end of the 22 as the 48 of Trifari hits the wall behind him. So something there slowed Aaron Tribble up big time, and that has allowed Ryan Worley to get right to the back end. This war will resume.
Yes, it will as they come through the quad oval right now. Worley now is right on the back of the 22, and this probably might be your closest battle to win this one off as Worley dives it down the inside now, looking for second place now, and here's his advantage now. This is his time now as Tribble hits the wall, coming out of 2, and that might give the advantage to Worley now, Byron.
Oh, man, he did tag that wall, but you saw him get up there and throw that block as Worley takes that low lane, trying to keep that momentum going, but can he hold it down in the low lane? He doesn't have the room to slide up in front of him, and Cedric Hunter just does not want to see a caution fly with these two battling the way they are with, 7 laps to go.
Absolutely, as they come through 1 and 2, Tribble going to ride the wall once again. And Worley going to stay down low. They're going to be side by side, coming out of 2. Bit of a slip there for Worley. Bit of a slip there for Jeff Price in the background as well. These tires are starting to wear off, and now we're seeing a battle for P4 now, Frank.
Yeah, you can see there's a huge gap between these guys here, and that gap up to Cedric Hunter is getting bigger and bigger. But you can also see there's a huge speed difference between the inside line and the outside line on corner exit. Inside line has the advantage of corner entry, but Aaron Tribble is able to hold him off and clear him about as wiggly as he can get on the outside lane at both ends of the racetrack.
Now diving it down to the bottom of the track there, Byron. I'll get to you in a second as Worley's still trying that bottom lane right now. Does get a nose out in front ever so slightly, but again, Tribble using that outside line. Just want to point you to the battle between Jeff Price and Scott Warren right now. That one's starting to heat up as well, Byron.
Yeah, that's heating up. As I'm taking a look, that low line, Worley found some grip. He's just not able to keep the foot in the gas as he slides up and gets tight. And we have a drag race down the back straight for the second position.
Tribble just cannot hit the wall in the corners. If he hits the wall in the corner, he is done. And now he's trying to pinch that 00 down to try to give himself the speed. And what a block by the 22 as they hit the line for 3 to go. Or 4 to go, rather.
Yeah, we are 4 to go here at Atlanta, and this battle just ever raging on. These guys have been at it since lap 1 here in Atlanta. It's between Worley and Tribble for that second spot. The podium, and Tribble into the wall.
There he goes.
Tribble around into the wall goes Aaron Tribble. He's going to have to give up the podium spot. It's going to be down between Jeff Price and Scott Warren for the last spot on the podium. This is your only battle out on track right now. The heartbreak for Aaron Tribble right now.
Yeah, and he's still fighting that car through 3 and 4. He's going to bring it into pit road now. And boy, he just used every single bit of that car trying to stay in front of Ryan Worley, as now Price and Warren battle for the final step on the podium. For Price, looking for his second consecutive podium. Scott Warren, I believe, looking for his first since he won the Daytona 250.
Absolutely, and Price, this has absolutely fallen into his lap again, and I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say at the end of this one. But that is provided he can hold on to this third place as the popsicle sticks are in the air, Byron. This your only battle out on track right now, but this one very important as it's for the last spot of the podium.
Yeah, last spot on the podium. I called it a lot earlier. I said, watch out for Jeff Price. He was saving what he had for the end of this run, and it looks like he was able to get around Scott Worley. Worley is using everything he's got left in that car, riding that high lane, looking for that momentum. And you can see he gets right up to him on corner exit with the momentum. But Jeff Price is just legging it out a lot quicker, coming off of that corner, and the gap's starting to, he's got the fresher tires. The gap's starting to show it.
Yeah, and sadly for Aaron Tribble, he's had to put it on the hole. He is out of the race as the white flag is about to come out here, Frank, as he comes out of turn 4.
Cedric Hunter coming across the line. He will win round number 6 at Atlanta.
Wow, that came up quickly. As yes, Cedric Hunter does win at Atlanta, and Ryan Worley going to cross the line for second place, and Jeff Price just going to hold on and will get third place. A fantastic podium again for the 14. But as they finish this one off here, Frank, you've got to feel for Aaron Tribble. He tried so hard, but unfortunately ended in such disaster for the 22.
Yeah, unfortunate. He drove a great race all night long, and just trying for second, he ended up losing everything, and that's just about as unfortunate as it gets.
And as we take a look at Cedric Hunter now, this is going to be probably the most emotional burnout you're ever going to see, as he finally got himself on the top step of the podium and he burns them down through the quad oval. And that is about as emotional as you're ever going to see it there, Byron.
Yeah, he drove a spectacular race. He had the ability to get out on fresh tires on green flag, get that lead, and then he had that clean air to run in. Didn't have to battle a lot of traffic, picked his way around lap traffic very carefully, ran his own line, and just an amazing job here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Yeah, as we are going to grab the race winner right now, and he is down there. And Frank, I believe you have him with him right now. Cedric Hunter, your race winner.
I do have Cedric. Cedric, boy, you said last week there was one guy you wanted to beat. Unfortunately, he wasn't here tonight, but you certainly took his place in his absence. What a dominating performance here tonight.
I appreciate it. Yeah, that's a win's a win. I'm obviously really happy and excited to get this one. I still do, want to beat him, and so I'm looking forward to racing with him. It sucks that he didn't show up tonight, but I know that in the series, Tony Ball's the guy to beat, and I plan on beating him.
Yeah, what was it like? We saw so many drivers tonight struggling with rear tire grip on corner exit especially. What was it like for you tonight? Didn't really have to battle anyone, just kind of on your own, doing your own thing. I'm sure it made it a lot easier to conserve those tires.
Oh, absolutely. And the fact that, like you said, didn't really necessarily have to battle anyone tonight, but this track is tricky. I know that on the short run, the rear grip exiting the corner was an issue. As long as you can pedal it and keep the grip underneath you, it kind of comes back full circle at the near the end of the run, and it really starts to burn off the right front. And so early you burn off, or you're really loose on exit, and then on the long run it's pretty tight. So it's kind of a setup and that goes up and down throughout a run, but it makes it interesting that way.
And it certainly was an interesting race all night long. Did you feel, now we had talked last week that we really didn't get a chance to see the multi-groove at Phoenix. We got a chance to really put it into effect here. Could you feel a difference from the last time you were at Atlanta to this time with the multi-groove? Did you feel like you could move the car around the track more?
Oh, absolutely. I know that in the last year or two, Atlanta's been predominantly a bottom lane track, so you just want to stay on the wide line on all the way around. What made it interesting is kind of the rubber and everything, how it played out is to defend a position, you'd want to be in the middle or the high groove. It made it really, really hard to pass if you kind of force the guy to go low, as well as I think the middle and high lane was just way better when the tires kind of start getting worn out. So, it's really good. I think that I know that a lot of real life drivers kind of say that that this update that iRacing has put out has put the sim kind of in the right direction, and I agree. I think that multi-groove racing is exactly what we needed, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they can improve upon it in the near future.
Now we're off next week, so in 2 weeks' time we head to Bristol Motor Speedway. Not confirmed yet whether or not it'll be the pavement or dirt, but either way, I'm sure going to Bristol is going to be quite interesting here.
Absolutely. To kind of what I've been hearing around the league, or at least a little bit tonight, was that it possibly more than likely will be the dirt side. That's not 100%. I'm hoping it is. I think that'd be really cool. I haven't done a race at Bristol yet in the dirt, so it'll be interesting. It'll be something different. I think it'll be wild, to say the least.
All right. Anybody you want to thank before we let you go and celebrate tonight?
Absolutely. I want to thank my racing team, Category 5 Esports. I want to thank the drivers and the admins in this league for making everything possible, for allowing me to come here and do my thing. I want to thank you guys in the broadcast booth for everything that you guys do. I look forward to going back and watching the broadcast tonight, and I also want to thank all the series sponsors for this league.
All right, there is your new points leader now, Cedric Hunter. Congratulations on your first win of the year.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
So that was Cedric Hunter joining us in the booth. Now joining Byron now is the man that finished second here tonight, battling all night long, but come in with the podium finish. That was Ryan Worley. Byron.
Ryan Worley, great job coming home in second place, man. We watched an amazing battle between you and Aaron Tribble pretty much for this whole race, and then Aaron just looked like he used up everything in the wall, got you in that second place, man. Tell me about your run.
Yeah, man, that has to be probably all of my time I've spent on the iRacing. I've probably had 5 years. That is the best battle I've had. Lasted for all 120 laps of this race, and it was just phenomenal. It was great. The car really was fun to drive tonight. You notice we could run all like 3 or 4 lines that there is here at Atlanta. And the other thing you may not have really noticed was how much dirty air hurt the car behind you. And that's how I was able to keep him behind me for that whole first run.
Yeah, it looked like, when you got close to racing, you looked like you got racing out of the rear view mirror a bit and was taking the line away from the car behind you that he wanted to run, and it seemed to work really well. I was about to ask you about the aerodynamics on this thing. Also, how was it with that right rear tire wear? Because it looked like you guys got off a squirrely an awful lot about midway through the run, through a tire run to the end.
I feel like the first run it wasn't as bad as it was the second run there, but I really was more concerned about that right front. That's actually the one that was burning up. I can give you a reading. We had 42 on the right front and 53 on the right rear for this 00, and I really was just more concerned about the right front all night. But yeah, definitely towards the end, running the top, you would just feel like get ready to snap or something. So it was something to watch, but it wasn't as bad as Phoenix was last week.
Man, you put on one hell of a show tonight, and we really appreciate it. I feel honored to be able to sit here and call that, especially that battle you had all race long with Aaron Tribble. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go and celebrate podium finish?
First of all, I got to thank all of our great sponsors here. We got Butt Kicker, Circle B Diecast over on the Super Speedway Series, iRacing iFlag, and now Rowdy Energy here for the Cup Series. And we also have Midwest Motor Customs. That's my other paint scheme I usually run. So me and Greg run that. And want to thank all my teammates. I know Brandon wasn't here tonight, but he's still a great teammate. Greg, man, he had a car tonight, but he couldn't. He's got kind of screwed over there for a while. And then Jason also had a pretty good night as well. Also, just want to thank Aaron Tribble. Man, that was just so much fun. I have not gotten to race people like that ever really on iRacing. So that was a lot of fun. Really respectful racing. Scott Warren did me some good racing as well. So really a big shout out to everybody in the field here. And then I always got to thank the good Lord above for just helping me in the race and helping me make it all the way through without getting too many leg cramps.
Well, it was a great show, man. Congratulations on second. What are your feelings heading off? You got, what, a couple week break, and then we're off to Bristol.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I don't know if you saw in the general here, I actually got to fly over there the other day. Check out that dirt they got. But yeah, I'm excited. I feel like I've got something for that dirt race. Watching me go in there and wreck it on lap one, but I feel like it should be a lot of fun. Just kind of spice it up a little bit on the circuit.
Now, we look forward to seeing it, my friend. Thank you, man. And congratulations on second place.
And thank you guys for broadcasting tonight. It's always fun to go back and watch these.
So that was Ryan Worley joining us in the booth. Now joining me is probably going to be the most excited man out of the top three tonight. Fell into his lap this time round after battling all night long. But Jeff, another podium finish here tonight.
Oh,
you said you were up for this one. You definitely got it this time round again.
Oh my God, I love this track. Like, that was the most fun I've had on iRacing in a long time, fellas.
Yeah, it
Like,
looked like it.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it looked like you had a lot of fun out there. You were in many, many battles out there as well with most notably Scott Warren as well as Logan Jones. You looked like you were having fun running around those guys, but how did the car handle out there? It looks like you managed to figure it out, just like you did at Phoenix last week. Took you some time to figure it out, but once you did, you were absolutely on fire around there tonight.
Yeah, I absolutely love this track. Like, literally, I always start in the back here because every time I've noticed that I qualify here lately, it seems like I struggle. So today I just kind of qualified just to make sure I didn't start dead last. And the car for me handled amazing. I know a lot of guys was fighting either tight or really loose. I only struggled toward the end there, really. It swung really tight on me and I got into the wall. But in a way, it kind of tightened the car up a little bit, so I was able to run a more aggressive line. So I was able to hold off Scott there. But man, this thing was amazing. I'm extremely excited to have 2 podiums in a row. Like, it's been a while since I've had a string of good races. Hopefully we can keep it up.
Yeah, and we mentioned last week when we spoke to you that you just broke into the top 10 with that finish at Phoenix, but now with this top 3 here at Atlanta, it's going to push you even further up in the points as we get closer. And well, we're quite a way away from the playoffs, but it's looking good for you with an eye on the playoffs, and maybe, hopefully, in the near future, going to be looking for a race win, maybe.
Absolutely. As you can see, I've been progressing. I took a long time off the Cup car, so each and every week I'm getting better. Next week's the wild card. I think it's going to be either a really good race or a really scary race for us. But as long as I keep this progression going, I have no doubt I'll be back in victory lane. And yeah, I just want to say hands off to Jason for running this, guys, because like I left last year, I was having a miserable time, being honest, and but I love these guys. So I'm like, I'm gonna come back and want to do it, and it's turned out to be a really fun experience. I know we hadn't had a lot of cautions, but there's been a lot of great stuff, great action on track, and next week should be a good one as well.
Yeah, and well, we're actually off next week, but in 2 weeks'
Yeah.
time, we are off to Bristol. You said it's the wildcard one because they actually haven't announced what surface they're going to be running on, whether it be dirt or asphalt. What would be your preference at Bristol in 2 weeks' time?
Well, to be honest, I was about a week ago, I was for the dirt. Now, since they quote unquote fixed the dirt on the stock cars, I'm not as excited about it. They handle like a dump truck, like you'd imagine a dump truck on a dirt oval. So I really would prefer to run the concrete, but run the dirt. I think that's what I think they're going to do. Like they're wanting to stick to the schedule. If we run the dirt, I'll sit down and I'll practice the dirt. Or if we run the normal surface, I'll practice that. I'm really good with either way. Either way, these guys are going to put on another great show.
Absolutely, and it's going to be fun either way. It doesn't matter which surface they run on, and obviously you guys are going to put on a great show as you do every week. But before I let you go, Frank, and celebrate your third place, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to or say thanks to?
Absolutely. First and foremost, my actual sponsor, Backchannel Productions on YouTube and Facebook. They follow your smaller stadium monster truck series. They have little bitty monster trucks for like some children to run. Tough trucks, really awesome channel. If somebody wants to go check it out, it's really cool. Tell them Jeff Price sent you. Other than that, we got the league sponsors. I'm losing my mind. Sorry. Anyways, we got the league sponsors. Midwest Motor Customs, Rowdy Energy. That's really cool that they're on your iRacing flag. I know they've been with the series since the beginning. Circle B Diecast, Butt Kicker, all the admins, and y'all for broadcasting, guys. I appreciate y'all.
All right. Well, Jeff Price in the number 14, picking up his second podium in a row here at Atlanta. Congratulations one more time, and we will catch you in 2 weeks' time when we head to the wild card at Bristol.
Heck yeah, guys. Hopefully I'll be talking to you there too.
Hopefully. Well, that was the interview portion out of the way, and Frank, I'm going to start with you. Another great race between these guys tonight, and we're going to be heading to Bristol, whether it be on dirt or on concrete. It's going to be fun either way.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, it was a great night if you're a racing fan. We saw a lot of great racing, and we saw that the update to iRacing actually does work, and we saw it a couple of weeks ago at the season finale with the USRA. We got a chance to see it here, and just as it does in real life, it provided a lot of great side-by-side racing all throughout the field. Tire wear played into a factor as well as it usually does around this track. It was a really fun night overall.
Yeah, and Byron, I'm going to go to you as well. In 2 weeks' time, Bristol, these guys are putting on a heck of a show so far this season. Going to be very much a different dynamic when they head to the short track there next time.
Yeah, but the talent alone that this league has behind the steering wheel of every car that you saw on track, I don't doubt that we're going to see a great show at Bristol, and I can't wait.
Absolutely. Definitely going to be an absolutely fun show. But for now, let's go to the results as me and Frank are going to read them out, I believe. So bringing home the win here tonight, his first race win of the season, and finally locking himself into the playoffs completely is Cedric Hunter. In second place is Ryan Worley. Third place going to Jeff Price, picking up his second podium of the season. Scott Warren coming home in P4. Logan Jones rounds out your top five. JC Windsor in his first race here tonight, coming home in P6. Seventh going to JD Woodward, and picking up P8 in his first race tonight was Raymond Dormer, Frank.
Yep. Joe Gauthier finishing in ninth position, final driver on the lead lap. Greg McConey finishing in 10th tonight, first driver off of the lead lap. Connor Trafari also finishing one lap down in 11th. Aaron Tribble, we saw him pull it off late. Timothy Jennings 4 laps down, finishing in 13th. Jason Papp finishing in 14th. Blaze Richardson coming home 6 laps down in 15th, was really out of it, from the very beginning. John Fowler, the final of the 3 debutants here tonight, coming home in 16th position, not finishing the race, and Shane Posey not finishing either. He was done on lap 22.
Well, that is going to do it for us here tonight. Quick look ahead on the schedule. Tomorrow night, we have another double dip for you, as the return of the UK sim racing circus comes to your screens as they head to Spa-Francorchamps. You can join. You can find Jake Sperry and James Whitehouse in the booth for that one, with Rob Jackson on cameras. And then later that night, we have Western States Racing League. Now, I can't remember where they're heading to, but I can. There we go. They're going to Chicago next week, as that is sure to be another fun race. You can join Ryan Jones and Ben Bruno in the booth for that one. Wednesday, we are off to Charlotte, but not quite as you think, as Sim Racers Edge Alpha Series head to the Roval for their third road course of the season. That is going to be a very interesting one, as you don't normally see open wheels on that sort of track configuration. So going to be entertaining nevertheless. Then Thursday, we have DOB back on your screens, as we have a double dip with them from this week onwards. Firstly, we have the 410 Sprint Series, and then immediately following that, we have the Big Block Series, sponsored apparently by ESPN, bringing you that one. You can join Ryan Williams. That's it. I keep getting his name wrong. I don't know why. He's going to roast me for that. He's going to, as Byron would say, he's going to kick me in the ding for that one. Ryan Williams in the booth for that one, and you can join Tony Trapasso as well. Myself will be on cameras. And then Friday, we will see the return of the Circle B Diecast Super Speedway Series. That is going to be a fantastic race for there. Frank, where are they for that one? Daytona. Okay. In the Xfinity cars, I think. And then Saturday, we are back with Sim Racers Edge as they continue the Bravo Series at Texas Motor Speedway. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank here tonight. And then Sunday, we are off. So, yeah, I know. But that is going to do it for us here tonight. That was your schedule for the up-and-coming week. Lots of racing for you here on ESPN, so please check it out. Give us a like on Facebook. Give us a follow or subscribe on Twitch and YouTube, respectively. My name has been Sam Cooper Bennett. Joining me in the booth was Frank Marchese on cameras as well, and Byron Rodney in the booth as well for this one. All that's left for me to say is keep it clean, keep it green. We will catch you in the next race, which will be tomorrow afternoon if you're in America, for UK Sim Racing. Have a good night, and we will see you then.